Hello, I'm Professor Grouper, and I'm here on Barton Creek. We're here to tell you some astounding fact. This goes way beyond global warming. It goes way beyond climate change. We're going to talk about the atmosphere collapsing from the top down rapidly because of massive overfishing. This is a rendition of me, Professor Grouper, and the last little school of ocean fish. I'm not a McNugget. Well, I'm not a McNugget either. Where's the last of the ocean fish going? This is the career day, the career wheel. The artist who did this is probably the best artist in Texas. He's called Mr. Twitch. If the corporations were to stop fishing, it would only be 75 years until the plant life and the fish would recover the oxygen production and the carbon sink. Only 75 years. But ever since the mid-30s, corporations have been feeding ground up ocean fish to chickens. Chicken is pretty much ocean fish. Ocean fish is in cat food and dog food, and it's fed to cattle and pigs and sheep. And we need to save the ocean's fish and let the oceans recover, because the deep, cold, dark vacuum of outer space is descending on us. This is a rhetorical question. When is the human race like a fish out of water? When they eat the last school of ocean fish and run themselves out of oxygen. And that's the message that I'm here to give you, is save the oceans. Now, you've heard about global warming. The heat inside these clouds is one factor of global warming. 150 degrees inside this cloud. That's unheard of, 150 degrees. And the idea of the global albedo. You've heard that all the glaciers are melting, and there's less snowpack, and the snowpack doesn't stick around enough to reflect the warm rays of the sun. Well, this is called global albedo, the reflectivity of our grandmother, the Earth. And as it lessens, then there's a heating that goes on. There's more incoming UV radiation from the dissolving ozone layer. The UVAs are warm, and they're warming the surface of the ocean. They warm the air. And as there's less and less atmosphere, as it shrinks from the top down, that's that much less protection from incoming solar radiation. As long as there's 5% of the ozone layer left, the UVCs that fry eyeballs in 6 seconds will be reflected. You might ask about some solutions. Maybe vegetarianism is probably the most important, or vegan. That's where people eat a little raw food and fruit juices. We can do it. Maybe not driving cars and producing carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide and carcinoma. That's a poem I'm working on, excuse me. Maybe visualize the interstates as big, huge hike and bike trails. Wake up every morning and put the earth first. This is an emergency, and it's very dire. The atmosphere is collapsing. Maybe the military bases all over the world into tree nurseries. Probably the best thing we can do would be to plant native trees. Y'all gonna need all the shade you can get with this global warming. Of the last, let's see, 11 of the 12 hottest years ever on record have been since 1995. That's in 13 years. Each year is getting warmer and warmer. And I can't say enough about the rainforests and the CFCs up in the ozone layer. It took 16 years for them to get up there, but now the elevator is stopped. And every year there's a an electromagnetic storm at the South Pole. September 20th, every year. It's a huge straight down 140-mile-an-hour winds. It lasts for 10 days. It's called the polar vortex storm. And it's 140 degrees below zero, the electromagnetic storm at the South Pole, every September 20th. And it shoved, finally the ozone layer got so thin that this vortex storm on September 20th to October 1st shoved the ozone aside, the ozone layer, and made a hole, which was first noticed around 1980 by Dr. Joe Farman. And the hole in the ozone layer is a symptom of the dissolving ozone layer. I'm Professor Grouper, and if you want to get a copy of this, you could mail. We're calling ourselves Vegan Hemp Bicycle for the solutions. And we're at 1195 Colito, Austin, Texas 78702. We could send you a little DVD of this. Thank you very much for your time. It's your atmosphere, and massive overfishing is doing it in. But the solutions are so simple that let's stay optimistic